What's going on, CH fam? I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. This is kind of like an emergency training, as I really want to share this with you guys because my recovery and my sleep and everything has done a complete 180 in the past little bit, and I really want to share this with you guys so you can help improve your sleep, improve your recovery, and just overall health and well-being as well. I know without sleep, like, I'm a completely different person. So with a proper sleep, it's like you do a 180. So I cannot wait to share this with you guys. I'm excited to dive into it. So I'm just gonna dive straight into it. If you have any questions as I go on, drop them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. So first and foremost, let me just explain what we're gonna go over here. So in the past week, in the past 2 weeks or so, I've kind of switched up my eating schedule, and I've noticed a unbelievable difference when it comes to my recovery and my sleep at night, like a dramatic difference. Let's say my sleep in my recovery before would be about a 5 out of 10 maybe. And I would wake up in the morning, I'd be super, super tired, barely can get out of bed. Now I can wake up with no snooze whatsoever. I'm up out of bed and I'm like feeling wide awake already. It feels like my energy levels have like 10x skyrocketed. So I cannot wait to share this with you guys. So what that is, jumping straight into it, is we're going to be talking about eating schedules, and we're going to be talking about our times and our circadian rhythm as well, and just sleep at night and how we can really maximize it when it comes to our eating. Okay? First and foremost, let me just explain the situation, what happened. So before what happened and kind of what my lifestyle looks like. Oh, I think we're just crooked a bit. I think we're good there. I think we're set. Okay, so before, what was going on with my lifestyle is typically what it would look like is I would get off work, and after work around 6:30 or so, I would go head to the gym, and I'd stay there until about 8:30 to 9 or so. So I'd get there around 7, we'll say maybe 7:30 some days. I wouldn't get home until around 9, and then I'd eat my big supper at like 9:30. And then I'd be sleeping, or I'd be in bed by around like 10:30 or so, and then trying to fall asleep just to wake up in the morning after like 7 hours of sleep. Okay, so that's typically what my old schedule was like. This old schedule, I thought it was fine because, I'd work out and then I'd go home and I'd have my big meal, high protein, everything, and then go to bed. But in the mornings, like I mentioned, I was having like such a battle to wake up in the morning. It was going on for a while, and I just felt no energy whatsoever. I feel like I needed way more sleep to actually recover, and it was very stressful because, again, I feel like I'm a complete different person if I don't sleep at night. Like if I don't sleep at night, I wake up and I'm more just easy to get triggered, easy to get mad at things, easy to just fall off on my goals and just things like that. So it's just like stuff that actually can affect you a lot when it comes to your fit journey and whatnot. As our sleep is literally what's going to give us energy to function throughout the day. So that being said, what I've recently done is after I get off work, so let's say 6:30, I'm done, and then I would eat my supper, and then after I'd wait maybe 10 or maybe like 30 minutes or so, and then I'd work out, and then after when I come home, I just have like a protein shake, and then I don't eat though for the rest of the night, okay? So I'm done eating typically a lot earlier than if I was going to bed. So I'm probably done eating around 3 hours, we'll say, before I actually fall asleep, rather than just like an hour or like a half an hour. And this one little switch has changed so much. It's crazy how much has changed with my energy and just how I function. Okay, and that's why I really want to share this with you guys on how we can get our eating times properly set, our circadian rhythm, and I'm going to break down the science of why that's happening to me. Okay, so first and foremost, jumping straight into it, I got my notes here today, so don't forget anything for you guys. So first and foremost, what can happen if you don't eat before bed? Okay, so I want to pin this note is that I don't want you to go to bed hungry, okay? I don't go to bed hungry. I don't go to bed starving or nothing. I go to bed satisfied, but not full. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I feel like crap, or I'm just trying to digest my food. So that's one thing I want to know. But The first thing that happens is that if you don't eat before bed, so let's say, you don't eat for 2 or 3 hours before bed, what typically happens is at nighttime, your blood sugar will be more stable. So there won't be no more spikes and whatnot, and therefore you will rest better at night, okay? Now moving down, the next thing here that I want to point out is one thing I was doing in the morning when I had this old sleeping schedule is I would wake up in the morning so bloated and so full feeling that I couldn't even eat breakfast some days. And it's not like me whatsoever, and breakfast is a part of my day every day, so it's like I gotta get the breakfast in. And I wasn't enjoying my breakfast. I was just kind of like scarf it down, and some days I wouldn't even be able to eat the full thing, and it sucked. So this is what I noticed as well, is that I wake up in the morning and not only am I fully energized, but also I'm not feeling bloated anymore as well in the morning. I feel like so much better, because that bloating makes your stomach feel so crappy feeling, and walking around having to deal with that in the morning and the grogginess, it's just not a good way to start your day. So less bloating in the morning is another huge factor I've noticed. And the next thing that moves me down is that also your hunger changes, okay? So the times you get hungry and whatnot also changes. So again, like I mentioned, in the morning I was able to eat my breakfast perfectly fine. And then also at nighttime, I'm not feeling hungry whatsoever. So your hunger times and whatnot will change because you're becoming more aligned with your circadian rhythm, okay? Now, the next thing here, and this is a cool one, but I believe this is not as like crazy important, but this is just a cool one I want to add in, is that there is this hormone, okay, that gets released, and it is called somatotropin, okay? So I kind of got that wrong, somatotropin or something like that. Basically what it does though is when it secretes more, it helps with your muscle mass growth, okay? That's all you gotta know. And if you eat though before bed and you don't have like over 12 hours where you're not eating, then this doesn't secrete as much, okay? So it doesn't get released as much, and it can almost affect your muscle mass growth a little bit, okay? So the thing is that this hormone will be released, will secrete more when you go about 12 hours without food. So when you're sleeping and stuff and you go 12 hours without food, it will secrete more, which will help improve your muscle mass, okay? Just a cool thing I want to add in. Now, the next thing though here is that it's really gonna help out with your circadian rhythm, okay? Now, before I touch on this point, I just want to make a note as well, is like those midnight snacks. I mean, if you don't need it, then possibly cut it out. But if you find like you're starving at nighttime, like, yeah, it's totally fine, because you don't want to go to bed starving at night. But if you don't need it, then try to cut it out, because if that late night snack might affect with your muscle mass and that hormone secreting, okay? Now, the last thing though here is your circadian rhythm. So what that is basically, guys, what our bodies have is like this internal clock, okay? And the better that we can function with this internal clock and kind of work with the internal clock, the better we're gonna be able to perform when it comes to our lives. So that's everything from the times we eat, okay? It's also from the times we work out, the times we sleep, the whole 9 yards. And everyone's kind of circadian rhythm is similar, but a little bit different here and there, okay? And basically, where was I going with this? When we can get our circadian rhythm on point and we can really follow that as good as possible. So let's say like one of the rules when it comes to circadian rhythm is it's always best to eat in a 12-hour time frame, okay? So let's say you have your first meal in the morning at like 7 a.m. Don't eat after 7 p.m., okay? So a 12-hour time frame. And that's just a little example of the circadian rhythm. There's a really good book. I don't remember it right now, but I can always drop it down below if you guys want, or I can find it in my folders and share it with you. So just shoot me a message if you want that book. And it talks about our circadian rhythms and the best time to perform in life at certain things. Like there's even things with like making babies, times you should eat, times you should go to the gym, the whole 9 yards. So if you want that book, it's extremely good on health and just how to function better in life. Just let me know if you want that and I'll find it, and I can just shoot me a message and I'll send it to you. Now, Next thing here though that I want to lay out is I just really want to share this training with you guys, because if you find that you're waking up in the morning, you're feeling sluggish, you feel like crap, or you're feeling bloated, then try this out. Try to get yourself on a better eating schedule. A few tips for myself that I can share with you that I've done to help with my eating schedule is making sure that I take it out in my calendar. So making sure that on my calendar, those times are inputted so that way I make sure I get my meals in. Now the next thing I do here, because I have a lot of the ladies in our program, they always talk about how like, or not in our program necessarily, but just people we talk to in general, they always mention how they sometimes get so caught up with work that they miss their meals, right? So one thing, an easy tip, it helps so much that I did at first, is simply just set a timer on your phone. Set a timer on your phone that goes off the same time every single day, says eat. And then that way you'll never forget. So you just, oh, timer's going off. Okay, time for me to eat. So that way you can get in that proper structure. So your body gets used to it so it can function much better. Okay? When things are chaotic and stuff, and our body's not really knowing what's going on, it won't function as efficiently as it could if we follow the circadian rhythm and build some proper structure in our lives. Okay? So first, figure out how many times do you want to eat per day. Build that proper structure in, and then next thing you know, get it done. So make sure you set the timers or whatever it may be, set it out in your calendar and get those meals in, okay? If you find you miss them too much because you don't have enough time, meal prep them so that way they're already ready for you to go, and then you just eat them right then and there. And then lastly, making sure that you're not eating too late at night. Of course, if you need that snack and whatnot, totally fine. Like, I don't want you starving when you go to bed, but if you can, try to avoid those big heavy meals and those dinners right before bed. I would say anywhere is like 2, maybe 3 hours before you actually go to bed. That's the perfect time to like eat your last meal. Okay, so that way you can digest a little bit, and you go to bed and you can rest and recover properly, so that way you can wake up in the morning feeling absolutely amazing, ready to crush the day. Because when you sleep better, guys, you wake up more energized and more motivated to tackle the world. If you sleep, let's say you're only sleeping 6 or 5 hours a night, you wake up, or even if you sleep 8 hours a night and you wake up and you're feeling like crap and whatnot, and you don't feel like you're energized, and it's like you're not gonna wanna do anything, you're not gonna wanna go to the gym, you're not gonna wanna work on yourself, and it's gonna be such a resistance going against you when you're trying to lose this weight and make these changes happen, okay? So we want to make sure that our circumstances and everything happening in our lives is going with the momentum that we want to go when it comes to weight loss. So whatever you can do to improve on those little areas, I mean, do it, because it's going to help you dramatically on this journey. A few other tips to help you with your sleep too. I know some people, they typically say like, oh, that nice glass of beer, or that glass of wine, or that beer at the end of the night really helps put me to sleep. Here's the thing though, what happens with that is that if we sleep and if we drink before bed, I think it's like an hour or 2 hours before bed, it actually completely ruins your whole sleep, okay? You don't get barely any rest whatsoever. It doesn't help you get into, I think it's your REM sleep, which is like the deepest stage. I could be totally wrong there. In that book that I mentioned earlier, they talk all about that, your REM sleep, all the phases, etc. But drinking and whatnot can dramatically impact that as well. And then also caffeine as well. So in that book, it talks about how you shouldn't have caffeine after like 3:30 p.m. Okay, so that way your body can utilize it, you can use it up, and then after though, it's gone, and it's gonna help you sleep better at night as well. Okay, so this was a huge training. I really want you guys to take action on this if you find that you're struggling with your sleep and your recovery, because this is going to dramatically change things for you. Like for me, I swear it's done a complete 180 with my energy and how I feel and just how I'm performing in the day. So please try this out if you're struggling with your sleep and your recovery on your fit journey, and it's going to change so much for you. Hey, what's going on, Dion? Hope you're having an amazing day. I'm just getting done, but if you want to watch the recording, I'll leave the recording here for you. So that being said though, guys, if you watched it this far, make sure you leave a smiley face down below in the comments so I know who paid attention to this. And one more thing, if you need that extra help and that support, or you want that one-to-one custom approach to help you hit your fit goals in 2023, I almost said 2022, message me, CH, to see how we can help you out and see if it's a good fit. Okay? Awesome, guys. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you later.